Welcome to the Impactful Entrepreneur Show with Adrienne Hill, a place for online business industry expertise and thought leadership, where you can build the skills, structure, and systems you need to thrive in business and have a lasting impact in your industry. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am super excited about this particular training session. Business designer Bri Seeley believes that entrepreneurship is the way to create unlimited wealth and freedom. Bri works with both established and emerging female entrepreneurs to create highly profitable businesses through consistent revenue creation. Now, whether you're ready to make your first dollar or your first million, Bri will help you to create long-term sustainable success on your terms. You may have seen her winning awards for Business Coach of the Year on the TEDx stage, delivering her revolutionary From Wages to Wealth talk, or in any number of press outlets such as Good Morning America, The Today Show, Forbes Entrepreneur, Women's Health, and more. You guys, we are so blessed to have Bri here with us today. Welcome, Bri. I'm super geeked and excited that we get to hang out and spend some time together.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been really looking forward to this.
I love it. I love it. Now, I know you're here to talk about the optimized content ecosystem, which we're all dying to hear about. But in case there's anyone in the audience who maybe hasn't met you yet and they're meeting you for the first time, you want to tell us just a little bit about you and your journey of like how you became the content ecosystem queen?
Yeah, so I was raised by an entrepreneur. I totally thought growing up that I never wanted to have that life, and then got into kind of like the real world and didn't have an option at that point to be working in my desired field, which was fashion. I had 2 degrees in fashion at that point. And so I just randomly started my own little business. And that business grew over the course of 8 years to, one-off custom pieces and installations, things like that, to selling on Zappos, dressing Toni Braxton, like all these other amazing things. Now, I came to find out over time that business was not aligned for me, that business model. The fashion business is kind of the antithesis of freedom. And it felt very stifling. It felt very frustrating. And so I left that industry and dove into teaching what I now knew from running a successful business for 8 years into helping other women do the same. And one of the things that really helped me kind of leverage my fashion business immediately was social media. So I kind of understood the power of social media at a very early stage. I feel like I was kind of an early adopter. Facebook pages super early on, got Instagram, I think in 2012, which became like a huge platform for me because fashion's such a visual business. And just really learned how to use social media to inspire people and inspire sales. So of course, though, content creation, as we all know, is a lot. Like you could be a full-time content creator and never develop a revenue stream. Like it's so much time and energy. And so I started wondering, like, if I'm spending all of this time and energy, not all of my content converts. At that time, there were no monetization options. Like how do I make this simpler? How do I streamline all of this so that I can get my time back? Because again, freedom, and then also just make it more effective. And at the end of the day, hopefully start delegating it out to people, all of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where my journey morphed. And then, content obviously is just one piece of the puzzle for me in the way that I work with businesses and their strategies. But I love social media because it's something that we have access to that if you think about previous generations of entrepreneurs, they didn't have access to build a network, build a community, build a movement like we do today. So I love social media, and I see way too many people spending way too much time on it that's not effective and not converting. And I think that there's just easier ways to do it.
Yeah. Well, I love this. I love unpacking this topic because so many golden nuggets that you just explained, like content creation in and of itself could be a full-time job. Well, if you're working on building out a course or a program, or you have a network marketing offer, or you're, any of those things, you're trying to run an agency, or even if you just are trying to hire someone to help with your content creation, if you're full-time doing content creation, you can only be one person, and so it's really hard to build a business. Like content creation leads to hustle culture.
Absolutely.
And tons of people are really, really busy, but they're not actually profitable?
I just had a sales call with a woman who has been building her business for 10 years. She's invested $60,000 in resources. She's never launched a single revenue stream. And I told her in 10 years, I told her straight up, I said, if you're working with me, you're launching a revenue stream within a week of us working together, period. And she elected to not work with me. And I was like, there's
makes you wonder if there's some fear stuff going on there.
Oh, 100%. And like, there's a difference between, entrepreneurs that are actually prioritizing wealth creation, revenue generating activities, and those who are just filling their calendar to feel busy, but not actually 80% of most entrepreneurs' time is spent doing the wrong things.
Agree. And they don't realize it, especially when it comes to content creation. It's so valuable. It's free marketing, right? Like, who wouldn't take advantage of free marketing? But it takes so much time and you're running on that content creation hamster wheel. So I know you don't just teach content creation, you teach optimized content ecosystems. So before we dive into all the goodness, can you tell me just a little bit about why the distinction between those two things, and why is it important to actually have an optimized content ecosystem and not just content creation?
Yeah. So like you just mentioned, I'm not saying people shouldn't put out content. What I am saying is be smart about it. So putting out content simply for the sake of putting out content is not actually going to do anything for you. It's not actually going to do anything for your business. If you don't have kind of an end goal that you're aiming towards, if you don't have a strategy about why am I posting this? What am I posting this for? You are not going to end up creating much revenue in your business. And at the end of the day, you have way more important things to do in your business than spend all day simply creating content for the sake of creating content. So we want to optimize and systemize your content creation so that you can spend more of your time in those revenue generating actions in your business.
Yeah. And then you're actually getting paid for all the time you're putting in. You're working smarter, not harder. It totally makes sense. So break it down for us. When you say ecosystem, right? Teach us what you mean when you use that word, and how does this ecosystem work when you're doing it the right way and you're bringing leverage into your business?
So ecosystems obviously are kind of fuller picture things, right? Like if you think of an ecosystem of a forest, it's got both the tall trees, but also the sprouting trees, but also the leaves that are decomposing to feed the mushroom. All of these things are working in synergy together. So the first thing that is important when you're operating and working this ecosystem is you want to make sure that you know exactly what your goals are. You want to know your yearly goal, which breaks down into your quarterly goal and your monthly goal and your weekly goal. And all of those things all along the way should then lead to what your social content is going to be for that week, and then breaking down into the day, right? So the way that I like to do this is once we know your goal, so if we know what your weekly focus is, say you're launching a course or a program or a product, we want to make sure that all of the content that you're putting out that week is leading to the successful creation of that product, that service being sold. So I also like when we're looking at this, so that's kind of step one. Step two is I am a huge fan of content repurposing. Yeah. So I don't want you to get up every single morning. This is the thing I hear all the time. Oh, what am I going to post today?
If that's what you're thinking, you have not planned ahead properly.
Correct. And I like to have that week's focus and make maybe one piece of content and take that one piece of content and turn it into a blog, a LinkedIn article, an email, a podcast, a long form YouTube, a short YouTube, an Instagram reel, a TikTok, a Facebook static post. You should be able to take one piece of content and break it down. You could even take, if you're doing a long YouTube, if you're doing, say, a 10-minute YouTube, you should be able to come out with at least 4 to 5 reels /TikToks/YouTube shorts from that one video.
Oh yeah.
And then that becomes all of your content for the week. So you don't need to be getting up and doing something new every single morning. You say, this is my focus for the week. This is the only thing I'm talking about this week. And it's coming out on Tuesday in a podcast, on Wednesday in a blog, on Thursday in a LinkedIn article, on Monday through Friday as Reels, TikToks, blah, 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 blahs, right? So you really want to take that one piece of content that is leading to your weekly vision, that then is leading to your monthly vision and your quarterly vision and your yearly vision, and do that system over and over and over and over again.
Oh, I love it so much. Like, we're just so cut from the same cloth. Like, spoiler alert, I'm going to do all that stuff with this interview. Like, absolutely. I love it. But I know for maybe some people in the audience, it's like, this is the light bulb moment where they're realizing, oh, like, number one, I could be doing things smarter. But number two, how many old things could I go back to and slice and dice and cut and repurpose and right? So
I'm literally doing that right now. Like, I just searched my own name on YouTube yesterday and sent all of these links to my assistant, because so one thing I will say, I am not big on the AI bandwagon yet. I'm really not. And there are 2 AI platforms that have helped me so much with this strategy. So I'll give them to people. The first one is Vidyo, VIDYO. .ai.
Okay.
And so that one is the one where I'm having my assistant go through all these old YouTube videos, speaking engagements of mine, all this stuff, and you put it in there, and all of a sudden it pops up with 20 less than 1 minute video clips for you. Now, you still have to go through them. You still have to
pick the ones that are good, you know,
or readjust the time markers or rewrite the captions, or like, there still needs to be a human touch, but it gives you a basis to work off of.
I'm actually going to write that down right now. Like, so for those of you watching, if you have especially if you have the VIP action workbook, write it down, VIDYO.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, so I will tell you, they have a free version. I'm just using the free version. I think you get 75 minutes for free a month, which is plenty. And then the other one that I've been using is called Capsho, CAPSHO. That one is specifically for like podcasting. I guess you could use it for other things as well. But what it does is it will come up with your title and your description for your episode. It will come up with multiple social media posts. It will write a blog for you. It will write an email for you. It will write a LinkedIn article for you. It will write a YouTube post, like it will write everything for you. And so those 2 things, because this can be rather time consuming, those 2 tools have really helped me cut down my time investment in, even still, like, this is a systemized process. It's still time consuming, right? So it's those 2 tools have really cut down my time investment in my, and it's easier too for me to hand off to my assistant. Again, you still have to go through proof, read, pick what works best.
Right.
But
like,
it gives you
this is gold. Even just with these 2 tips, I hope you guys are all writing this down, because I imagine even with that second tool you told us about, even if it spits out all the content in the blog and the LinkedIn article, you can still edit it, put it in your own voice, make tweaks. Like, but it's a super solid starting place.
And the blogs that it spits out are generally like 8 tips or like 5 tips or something. Yeah. And so then what you could do is take each of those tips and turn those into individual social media posts, right? Like, there's so many ways to repurpose this stuff. And just, I mean, really, truly, you said it earlier, it is about working smarter and not harder. And so if I have to pay $90 a month for a program to write all of my stuff for me, like, I'm going to do that. Like, I know about myself, my podcast has been really inconsistent because I don't want to sit down and do all those things all the time. Yeah. So having a tool to help me and then taking that and repurposing it in all of the different ways, it just makes it so easy. And then I'm removing myself as the bottleneck to my content creation. And also, letting my assistant step in and help me in ways that she couldn't before.
And I imagine it's helping your assistant to be more efficient too. Like she's going to be able to deliver more for you more consistently by using the right tools at the right times. What a genius hack. I love this. Both of these tools are new to me, so I'm super excited about them. I can't wait to check them out myself and share them with my own team. Like, this is amazing. Whether you're a solopreneur and you're realizing like, I can only be one person and I need some tools to help me create leverage. Awesome. Check them out. I think these are great tips. But even if you have a team and you're delegating some things to the team, it'll help the team be more efficient. That's always a good thing too.
Well, and it's nice, I said I sent my assistant that list of YouTube videos yesterday. Mm-hmm. So she's going in and literally going to click all the buttons to do all the things, to create all the things. I'll go in and then look at them and say, okay, yes to this one, no to this one, post this one here, do this, da 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 da. And then she'll go out and do all the things as well, right? It just, I don't know. I don't have time for all the content creation stuff anymore. And it just, however we can make this easiest, because we need to be out there as women and men too, but also my platform is women making money. Like you need to be out there making money in your business. You didn't start this business to just stay busy all day, every day.
You started a business to make some money and live a life of freedom and have more options. I love it. So speaking of making money, I mean, that's what we're all here for, obviously. So what kinds of results have you and your clients gotten by implementing some of these things? Do you have examples you want to share with us?
Yeah, I helped a client launch a business. I feel like it was 1.5 years ago now. Time is so weird. But she launched a business and we really strategized her social presence. She does dog treats. Super cute business. And she was able to launch and she did around $16,000 in sales in her first few weeks. I've helped some other people. I have a client who went from not having a business at all to within 2 years growing it to $40,000 months. And then last year we took her from $40,000 months to $120,000 months.
Wow. And that's just from using like the content ecosystem strategies.
Yep. I have clients who have been placed. I have a client who's, she's a fashion illustrator. Content was on the cover of Life and Style magazine. She was called out of the blue to do a what if wedding dress for Taylor Swift a few years ago. She's also really just built, like she just did a live fashion event at Saks First Avenue in Atlanta. And I'm trying to think of some other women. Oh, another one of my clients this week just got called by PBS to do a feature on her business and her store. And the same day booked like 4 podcast interviews as well. So,
oh my gosh,
like content can be used for revenue creation, but it can also be used for increasing visibility, like all sorts of other different things as well, that if you're doing it right, people are going to take notice. And whether that means they buy from you or they want to help elevate your platform or whatever that looks like, but really, truly, a lot of it is about being consistent. A lot of it is about showing up, being valuable, really being open and, sharing all the wisdom you have in a really beautiful way. And doing it on a regular basis.
Consistency is huge in whatever you're doing. I mean, do you have any quick tips for people on how to stay consistent if they're moving down this path of getting smart about slicing, dicing, repurposing, reusing, all the things?
Yeah. First off, I always like to set myself up for success, and I'm smart enough to know like what my outs are, like how I can trick myself into like not showing up in my business. I know all these things. I also minored in psychology. So I like very much understand when my brain is trying to, derail me. Yeah. So I schedule my stuff into my calendar.
Yeah.
Everything I do is scheduled into my calendar, because if I've already made the decision that on Wednesday from this time to this time is my content creation time, then when it gets to Wednesday at 1:00, it's not a decision I have to make.
Yeah, it's already decided. You just have to show up.
Exactly. Exactly. And so scheduling in really helps me. My other big tip, and I know this is a little silly, is getting an egg timer.
Yes.
I literally will just like set it and be like, okay, I have 40 minutes. In these 40 minutes, I am only focused on this one thing. And then I don't know about you, but if I face resistance or enough, I'm like, oh, this writing thing is hard, I immediately reach for my phone to like distract myself.
Yeah.
But if I have the egg timer going, there's some magic force field that happens with the egg timer that I do not, I will think about reaching for my phone and then be like, nope.
Or you can even take the phone and put the egg timer on top of it. Like, there's no way you're going to lie to yourself about what you're doing in that case.
That is next level. I'm totally going to steal that.
Well, which is so funny though that you do these things, because I use timers too and calendars, and I have this saying, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist. You know, it's not even real. It's like this imaginary idea, right? So like, I love that. And I used to use timers too. You know, I think I'm going to get an egg timer like you, because I used to use like Siri or Alexa. Then I started getting creeped out about like, is she listening to everything that I say? I don't know. I like that idea, but I just need an old school egg timer, and I need to put my phone under it. And every time I do it, I'm going to think of you now. It's going to be awesome.
I used to use my phone, but then I was picking up my phone to set the timer, and then I'd end up on Instagram,
your phone,
Facebook, and I was like, this is totally defeating the purpose of like, I can't. I've even stopped playing music on my phone. I'll now like put my headphones in and I'll play it, because you know I have like a million. You should see the back of behind my screen behind you is just like, so I just have YouTube up in one of them, and I just play music through that, because again, I'm like, I do not need to be on my phone during the day.
Totally agree. Yeah, because it can derail you. It can derail you. Now, clearly, this is just a bigger strategy. This is a piece of a bigger strategy that you teach your clients. Like, what are some of the other things that you do to help them earn consistent cash flow? Because you got some like really cool client results, and I'm sure there's more to it than just content.
Yes. So interesting that you mentioned it being a piece. I'm a huge puzzler. I have done puzzles since I was a very little girl. My grandma got me into puzzles, and now I do the hardest puzzles. So like, I just ordered a 3,000 piece puzzle, and a few years ago for my birthday, a girlfriend got me just a pure white puzzle. Mm-hmm. And puzzling for me is business creation. Like, it's business design. So what we do is we essentially sit down, like, there are fundamental building blocks for every business: marketing, website, sales conversations. Like, there are fundamental elements, but the way that those go together and the way that, you know, the flavor of each one for every single business is a little different. So what we do is we stand back and kind of like dump all the pieces out on the table. Who's your customer? What are their psychographics? What are your revenue streams? Why are people buying from you? You know, what are the price points? How do all of these different revenue streams fit together? And kind of again, the ecosystem idea. How are you getting out in front of them? What is your content creation? Do you have a publicity strategy? Like, all of these building blocks and like pieces then fit together to create this like beautiful big picture. So again, every single business is different. For example, that dog treat business does a lot of in-person markets. She can do 10 grand at an in-person market in like, she usually, if she does a 3-day market, she's usually sold out before the 3rd day. And so like, but that is not a strategy that I would give to, say, like, one of my clients who's a coach or a consultant, right? So yeah, it's really important, if you're looking at creating consistent income in your business, do yourself a favor and treat your business as unique as your thumbprint is. Mm-hmm. You need to go through and really understand and identify all of the different pieces, how they fit together, how your marketing strategy is informing your sales conversations, and how your sales conversations is informing, you know, how you deliver your revenue streams, and just like, everything just.
You know, it's so funny. I feel like we're soul sisters. So someone challenged me once, and this is when I was still in corporate, but I was building a business to try to get out of corporate. So I was like wearing the business hat and I was wearing the corporate hat, and they asked me to describe myself without using any titles. And I was like, I'm a puzzle solver. And that's kind of how, like, I view business as just like this fun, intricate puzzle that, like, ooh, you know, and I think we have that in common. That's so funny.
It's true. I love seeing like all the pieces and how they fit together. And like, I'll even say the first thing I do with clients is we vision, because I'm like, we need to know what the picture is on the puzzle box to know like what we're putting together and what we're building. So I love,
because you need the
the
puzzle
metaphor.
box cover to when you have the pieces of, you're like, okay, here's what we're building, right? Totally makes sense that the vision is the puzzle cover box. Oh, I love that. Now I know you have a free gift that can help the audience to basically get started on everything that we've talked about today and to kind of piece it all together, to puzzle it together. Do you want to tell us about the gift?
Yes. So I have a workbook to help everyone create more consistent income in their business from the inside out. So it's a combination of your mindset, your habits, and your actions that all kind of go together to then help you understand how to create more consistent revenue in your business. Most entrepreneurs start off on the roller coaster where we create income and then we kind of stop and then we go back down and then we have to ramp it back up again and we got to create more income and then we go down. And this workbook is to really help people kind of flatten that process and like even it out.
Ooh, I love that. So you guys, somewhere around this video, somewhere obvious, there will be a button. You can click the button, you can get the free gift. Okay, so grab Bri's free gift. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. If you found amazing value here, like, subscribe, and leave us a review to help other people find the high value content that we share, and find us on social media so we can continue the conversation. See you in the next episode.